Hey everyone, so today we're going to continue to learn and practice comparing and contrasting. Specifically, we're going to talk about how characters react in situations in the story, to problems, and to other people, how they interact. And so what we're going to do is look at the story, Emmanuel's Dream, the true story of Emmanuel Ofosu Iboa. And so if you have not yet clicked on the link to the video of someone reading this story, you should do that first. Stop this and go ahead and watch that video or listen to the story being read. There's a link here in the slideshow also, but I posted a link. So now, assuming that you have watched this video and read the book, we're going to continue. How did Emmanuel's parents in this story respond to his disability when he was a baby? And so one thing, a great reminder here you can see is always remember that there are visual cues, there are pictures or images that give us a lot of information, and this creates the tone of the story and gives us some hints. So we can see both the eyes of the mother and the reaction of the father show that they're both upset here. And if you are understanding the story, it's because of the disability and the birth defect that Emmanuel had and the challenges that they knew he would face. So think here for a moment. How would you compare and contrast both mom and dad's reactions to his disability? Go ahead and hit pause and tell your answer to one person in your house or a stuffed animal. Go ahead and verbally out loud say your answers here of how their reactions were similar and different. Pause now. All right, so hopefully you did take the time to pause and think through those and actually verbalize them to somebody. And so I'm not going to list them here, but I can just kind of say mom and dad both, as far as being similar, were both upset. The first pic shows this, but their reactions, father, he left, and never to return, it said in the story. But his mother here, we can load up, her reactions were so different. His mother had faith, it said. Mama said that he could have anything, but he would just have to get it for himself. Her last words, in fact, at the end of the story to Emmanuel were to never give up. And so there's definitely two very different reactions here. And so as a child, how did Emmanuel respond to his disability? Okay, once again, look at these pictures, not just the words. You can see him, and you can see his leg is not working, but it gives several examples of how he responded to this disability. So same thing, you're going to pause and tell somebody now, how did Emmanuel respond to the disability? All right, so hopefully you did recite those things aloud. Some of the responses here in the book, it says he learned to crawl and hop, okay? He learned to fetch water and climb coconut trees himself. He shined shoes to earn money. Continuing in the story, he hopped to school and back on his own, one good leg. Emmanuel saved his money and bought a soccer ball to share with his friends. He tried over and over to ride a bike and learn to ride a bike. When he went to the city, he arrived at the city, it said, full of hope. He refused to beg and was committed to getting a great job. And then just a remainder of his life and his bike riding and all that he did showed his hope and that his belief that he could continue even with this disability. Okay? So there we've shared those. Now, continuing in the story, it says, how did the community, like the shopkeepers, the restaurant owners, all the people that saw him, respond to Emmanuel's disability? Look at pictures like this to remind yourself the story. And if you need to, go back and just kind of double-check the video. But think here. What are some ways that Emmanuel's community first reacted to his disability initially? Go ahead and hit pause and brainstorm. Okay? So when we think about this, some of the examples here, one, the community, they did not expect him to go to school. People with disabilities here like him did not go to school. They told him to go out and beg like other disabled people. The shopkeeper in the story assumed that Emmanuel was in his shop to beg, even though he had money. Okay, so if we continue here, let's now discuss how the people of the community changed their response to his disability from the beginning of the story, like some of the examples we talked about, to the end. Okay, and you can see him riding his bike and their reaction here. So think, how did Emmanuel's community change? We really want to focus on how characters change over the course of a book, and that's as fifth graders something that we do. So pause and out loud say this to somebody. How did the community change? Pause. Okay, so hopefully you thought about how many went to Emmanuel on his bike journey to hear what he had to say, and they were inspired by it. Children cheered when he came to the city and rode past him. People actually ran with him, alongside him, and rode with him. These were adults that originally would have thought and looked down on him. Now they were inspired by him. And even at the end of the book it says, this young man, once thought of as cursed, was becoming a national hero. Okay? So if you have not done so after this lesson, you can actually watch a video of the real-life Emmanuel and a little bit about 5 minutes or so of his story, and it shows video footage of him on his bike and traveling, and it's pretty awesome. So that's optional, but I'd encourage you to try to watch that video. One thing to wrap things up to tie to this story is this idea of using reference materials to identify unknown words and unknown things. I wanted to model this for you quickly because even with our literature circles, I know this was something that a lot of you needed, and so hopefully this helps out. When we think about this, what kind of reference materials can we use to learn about the setting of the story? Well, I'm going to model this for you for a moment, and you have resources available to you rather than just searching online. Where is Ghana? Where is West Africa? Okay, and so here I've created a link to this where we could go and actually see where Ghana is. When we talk about Ghana along the coast here, if we were to zoom out, we have Ghana as along the coast. It's the Gulf of Guinea right here, and this is the continent of Africa. Okay, you have the Atlantic Ocean, and you have here, the United States, and across the Atlantic into Africa, we have right here Ghana along this coastline. Okay, and so hopefully that gives you some context here. And so whenever you have a story, I would encourage you to always look up where that story is happening, so that maybe you could continue to learn about it. Another thing you could do is go to Britannica School here. In Britannica School, if you just go here and search elementary, and then you go and search Ghana, country in West Africa, that's what we're looking for. You can learn within a minute a lot of information that gives a lot of good background information. So I encourage you guys to start doing this, or if you have questions, just go to Britannica School, type in Ghana here, and you can see it was the first African colony to win independence from Great Britain. Great Britain, remember, owned, when we talked about imperialism, owned a lot of countries as part of their land. And at this point, we had Ghana gain their independence, and this allowed them to establish industries and modern educational system for their kids. And they had several famous people from this country, important leaders. Kofi Annan was their Secretary General of the United Nations. Geography we talked about, where Ghana is located on the west coast of Africa. We looked at the map here. Some of the plants and animals, just to learn about the land. 2/3 of the country is trees and forests. They have cotton trees, They have mammals such as lions, leopards, hyenas, antelopes, elephants, buffaloes, wild hogs, chimpanzees, monkeys, crocodiles, hippopotamuses. Like, honestly, just skimming through here, you can start to visualize now the setting of this story. The people of Ghana belong to a group of about 75 different tribes. And so there's a lot of tribes in Africa. And so specifically different regions in Ghana, there's tribes related to Ghana specifically. So as we talk about this and look about this, reference materials are really going to help you understand stories more. So I encourage you to start looking things up as you read and come across it. Okay, we're going to skip this part. So your assignment for today is to complete the assignment. There's two little short stories, Cinder Maid and The Glass Slipper. You're going to compare and contrast these two like we've been doing. There's three quick little questions that you just respond and answer to, and it's learning. Then I want you to make sure that you check the scheduled conference time, write down, set an alarm so that you know what day and when you are meeting. You'll be ready for that with an open up reading step log to meet with me. And that'll start tomorrow on Tuesday. And then read for 30 minutes in class and 30 minutes for homework. So that's 4 steps total. Please add this to your reading step log and be better. Now that it's January, be more consistent with that. Okay? In your research, if you don't get enough reading in, if you want to count your research today towards your reading time, I'm definitely okay with that. All right? Keep being awesome. Can't wait to see your responses.